T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to our Paramotor Nation. Tonight's show is sponsored by 1UP Adventures and ParamotorProps.com. Sharing their passion for flight on adventures around the world, they make a trip of a lifetime accessible for you. They are a supplier of carbon fiber propellers in the U.S. at extremely low prices and have become a leader in the country for getting tandem training and helping you to obtain your tandem exemption. Wisconsin Flight Sports makes it affordable and accessible for you to get your paramotor training in a safe way. In addition to their other paramotoring gear, they can also help you design your own custom Icarus Solar X helmet to your specifications. Don't wait weeks to get your paramotor. They are stocked with SkyMax paramotors, one of the best paramotors available, and they are ready to be shipped to you today. Check out Paraswag USA, your complete powered paragliding gear source, providing you with the new extremely light and extremely affordable Rebel 2 RS paramotor from Evo Aviation, as well as other gear and accessories. Everything you need to get started in powered paragliding. Located just outside of Lansing, Michigan, Fly My PPG is a USPPA ASC certified paramotor training facility offering a full-service paramotor training experience with 3 on-site instructors and class sizes limited to 6 students, all on a beautiful private 90-acre airport. Fly My PPG offers on-site lodging and RV camping. Space is limited, so don't wait to make your reservation. Contact Mike Cotter or Justin Fox. Celebrating their 10th anniversary, the team at Fly PPG discovered powered paragliding has helped people from all around the world to get into our great sport. They are the Midwest importer and distributor of adventure paramotors, trikes, and wings. They offer tandem flights and a 7-day training certification program. Come out to their 48-acre farm in Fowler, Illinois, and see why it is called the Field of Dreams. Take the next big step in your paramotor training at Skylab Paramotor SIV. Here, paramotor pilots of all skill levels will learn collapse recovery and advanced maneuvers. Top-of-the-line advanced instruction in the safest environment possible with a full line of rental gear. Aviator Paramotor is a cornerstone for paramotor training while offering its students some of the top paramotoring equipment. With 2 locations in beautiful Florida, class availability has never been more convenient. Light up the skies with PPG lights and make one heck of an impression with countless patterns and colors on your paramotor. No aircraft can miss seeing you when you are flying at twilight with PPG lights. With raving reviews, Lone Star Paramotor has become one of the most sought-out paramotor schools in the South near San Antonio, Texas, offering foot launching and trike training classes and much, much more. They are a USPPA certified flight school. Wicked Wings logo can help you have a one-of-a-kind custom glider with one or multiple colors. Get all the information you need to order your logo today on the Our Paramotor Nation website. That's www.ourparamotornation.com. And while you're there, check out Our Paramotor Nation's upcoming shows, watch our past shows, visit all of our sponsors, and find out much, much more. And now, let's get started with Our Paramotor Nation.
Kevin Bacon once said, "There is a time to every purpose under heaven, a time to laugh, and a time to weep, a time to mourn, and a time to dance."
How do you write words to something that would describe a feeling that you can't explain?
Dude, look how bright that is. Dude, what is happening? This is how religions are started.
Well, welcome back to another episode of Our Paramotor Nation. Hey, everybody. What a great show we had last week. The most viewed show with over 1,300 views. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. I had such great feedback. But if that last little bit of the intro video there moved you or made you laugh, you can thank Ryan Southwell. He is our guest tonight. And, when I think about Ryan Southwell's videos on YouTube, his paramotoring videos, everybody makes videos. He doesn't make videos. He makes films, and they're ones that really, really move you. And I know they move me. Some of his videos have made me cry, and even watching them over, I still get shaken up by it. But yeah, we're going to talk to him here in just a second. I want to bring on my co-host, Dave Ruff, Trike Flyer, and John Ripman Ryden. Hey guys, how are you doing tonight?
What up? What up?
What up? Cheers to you both.
Hello, Dave. Oh, drinking the old Paps, are you?
You know, John, I don't really like Paps, but I got here to my studio tonight and there was empty beer cans and all these mustaches laying around, and I just thought, well, I guess there's a couple cold beers left. I might as well drink them up. So
there you go.
It still tastes awful, but it's great. It's great. Rick and Kate are going to be taking a little sabbatical from the show. Kate Bowen has recently got a new job, and it has been a very, very busy job for her. So she's going to be taking a little break from the show, as is Rick Davies, PPG Gorilla. He is very, very busy. I mean, still busy, even going out of the warm season in Florida. And he's been putting a lot of hours. And on top of that, you may have seen his post on Facebook. He is actually starting a PPG school of his own where he's going to be training on the weekends down in Florida out of Wauchula. I know he's actually going to be doing a little bit of apprenticeship. He's going to be doing an apprenticeship here in a couple weeks, months, I think actually right after the new year, with One Up Adventures, Travis and Kyle, as well as Fly My PPG, Mike Cotter and Justin Fox. They're going to be coming down. So he's going to be working with them. And then he's going to be actually going back and doing more apprenticeship up with another one of our sponsors, Wisconsin Flight Sports, Roger and Sam. So we're excited for Rick to do that. Quickly, I'll mention a couple other announcements. We have, God, hard to believe, John, hard to believe in 1 week this whole election thing's going to be behind us. Well, maybe not.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, but we have next week a show that a lot of other people have also been looking forward to, which is our para debate between the Godfather, Eric DeFore, and the President, Jeff Going. That's going to be a heck of a show right there, and one that's been a long time coming.
Dave, will you be debating that show? Will you be the moderator on that show?
I will be moderating.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
You will also be co-moderating,
Excellent.
as well as Dave. And then 4 days later, not a week later, but 4 days later, that's when we're going to switch over to Sundays. Amelia Plack of Ozone. She promised she is going to be here, and it's going to be a special time. It's not going to be at 9 o'clock at night. That one will be at 6 o'clock on Sunday because it's going to be midnight for her in Spain. So we're going to accommodate her and work with her because what she's got to say is very, very important. The week after that, Mitch G, the star of the Anthony Vella show, Mitch G is going to be joining us as well. And then the following, we're 4 weeks out. My gosh, 4 weeks out. November 22nd is the last one we have booked. That's going to be right after the big trip that Resurgence PPG is going to be doing. And so Todd Scandrett's going to come back. He's been a while since he's been, well, some people would say he was on last week, right, Dave? I guess I was told he was on last.
He was on. I tuned in for like 2 minutes. I was super busy. So
Rip man, you have your hand up like we're in school.
Our
you have
guest,
to go potty.
our guest tonight.
Yeah.
Who is our guest? Let's meet our guest.
Getting there. I've got another thing to say here, okay? Make sure you do check out the website for all the shows, all the information, all the sponsors that we have that are so generous for us. And then also, we convinced him to keep doing it. Dave Ruff has signed on another year agreement for continuing to do
Whoa, we talked a month.
the Friday night after dark, and he's got some prizes. And actually, Dave is going to, because we are going to be reigniting the fire of After Dark. Dave, you've got a prize that you're going to give away tonight on the wheel, correct?
Yeah, actually, in fact, I just saw Jeff Dean as a new one in the chat. So I've gotten all the names above Jeff Dean. And yeah, guys, look what's here.
Trike Flyer t-shirts.
Yep.
Yes.
And I've got, now they're in red, black, and blue, depending on color. I've got small, medium, large, extra large here.
If you win the t-shirt, you can work out those details with Dave, size, colors, all that good stuff. So, Ripa, you're so impatient. 10 minutes. We're 10 minutes after 9. We'll go an extra 10 minutes if you want, okay? I'm not going to steal away Ryan Southwell. We've got him here. Ryan, come on in.
Yes.
Make sure you hit that button again, the one that you turned your screen off.
I good?
You're good. Look at
Welcome.
There he is. The
Hey,
Ryan
everybody.
Southwell. Wow. All right. Good night, everybody. No, look at this. We've got these makeshift green screen. You would think that that's a green screen, the sound booth. I think it is. I'm still not convinced that that's real.
No, it's real. It's my office. It's
Oh, wow.
It's a recent addition. I do
Soundproof.
some sound recording in here sometimes.
So Ryan makes, I started to say earlier, Ryan makes just the most incredible films. And the best way I can describe it is this. When I listen to Ryan's voice doing the voiceovers and I'm watching his videos, I feel like I'm sitting in one of those theaters where the whole movie screen is around you and Morgan Freeman is talking about penguins in the most deepest bass voice. And it stirs you. My daughter and I were watching them in the car while we were waiting for something, and we had the sound up and the bass is booming. And my daughter says, I feel like I'm in a 4D theater right now. I'm like, yeah, I know, this is great. So Ryan has had so many adventures. We're going to talk about a bunch of them. We don't have to relive every moment, but I know I've got my personal favorite. And if you have not seen Ryan's videos, I've posted it, his link to his YouTube channel. Make sure you go into it. Make sure you subscribe. Excuse me, that Pabst Blue Ribbons is giving me a little burp. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. Now, Ryan doesn't put out many videos. He really doesn't. Maybe once a year.
But when he does,
say it, John.
When he does, they are spectacular.
Some would say it's definitely time to get the kettle on with the good tea.
There you go.
Real good tea. And get rid of this and get the good beer. So, Ryan, I want to ask you first. You've been doing this a long time. I know more about you just from researching, but for those of you that don't know who you are, how long have you been flying paramotors? Where do you live and what do you do for a living?
I've been flying for 8 years, just had my 8-year anniversary. I was the first student of Team Fly Halo that they ever had in Oregon.
You were the first student?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
There was a class of, 6 or 7 of us at the time. And I don't know, I learned well. I learned pretty quick. And I got invited for the after training special trip over in Bend. So good times, got to hang out. And those guys kind of became my best of friends in the paramotor world. And yeah, I live in Southern California. So my LZ is 2 miles from my house. It's an awesome place. And for what California is right now, but yeah.
And what do you do for a living?
I about 10 years ago, I started doing filming commercial work for businesses in the hospitality industry. So namely fancy hotels. I'd be out traveling the world filming commercial work for them.
Okay, so you're gone about how much time of the year or the month? How much time of the month do you think you're away?
About the last 5 years have been super busy. I've probably been gone 2 to 3 weeks out of the month on the road. Hence one paramotor video a year. So until COVID hit, all hotels shut down and things. So I work went down to a big whopping 0 for 6 months or so. And then all of a sudden I've got 3 out this year so far, maybe a 4th one coming soon.
Sweet. Awesome. Make sure you hit the bell. It is certainly awesome. So that was actually one of the questions. So I'm not going to say who it is, but I got a list of questions from a certain person who makes amazing videos as well. Probably outside of yours, I would say my favorite videos. I'm not going to say who it is. I will just say he lives in Canada. He's from England. He's got 3 different names and he's amazing. His first name is Greg.
Yeah.
So one of the questions he wanted me to ask you, because this was the thing, and I told him this, when we had a little pre-interview the other night, you and I said, man, you are away all the time. You take these amazing para-camping adventures. You've gone to Iceland with some of the big names out there. We'll talk about that in a second. I said, you definitely, I've got 4 kids. I know how busy I am. You definitely don't have any kids, do you? And your answer to me was?
I have 5 kids.
5 freaking kids. That's
wow.
unbelievable that you can do that. So the question from our friend that's living up in Canada, he says, with the responsibilities of such a large family, how long are you comfortably allowed to go away on paid filming assignments?
I don't like to go more than 2 weeks back to back. Usually I come home, like I'll be home on a Saturday night and have to do my laundry and then be out, noon on Sunday for another week. And that's a quick turnaround. I don't like doing it. It just wears you out. You get old really fast traveling all the time and sitting on planes. And, there really was a time where I wasn't on any particular time zone, permanently jet lagged, so to speak. So be in the Middle East, and then I'd be in Puerto Rico, and then I'd be in Xi'an, China, all within the same month. And so it's like, how do you mentally deal with that? And then still get the editing done at home in between. So it's kind of it's a big balancing act. But the real reason why I'm able to do that is because my wife is Wonder Woman. She's grown accustomed to handling the kids, and I'm very blessed to have good kids too. So it's not easy, but we manage, and it's work, and I'll take it, and life is pretty good.
Make it work. One of the interesting things is, I'm sorry, I don't know if someone just had a question. One of the interesting things I find is that, a lot of people, once they hang up the coat at the door and they step away from work, the last thing they want to do is anything that's related to work. But yet you come home and then you sit down, you do your editing, and then you said, I think I'm gonna do a paramotoring video too. How is it that you have the passion to still do a paramotoring video when this is what you do for a living?
That's a hard and good question. I often tire of wanting to do it sometimes, even for flying. But it's one of those things where I've been blessed to actually go to some pretty amazing places to fly. And it's one of those things, because I film for a living, that I go somewhere and the first thought is, oh, that's an awesome shot right there. It's like a curse. You can't not think about how cool of a shot is that? I need to take a picture. I need to film it. So I inadvertently have to have a camera with me every time I go flying. And it's hard not to. A few flights I don't, but generally speaking, if I know I'm going somewhere cool, I got to make sure I got my potential awesome kit of camera gear.
How many cameras in that kit of awesome gear do you bring?
One still camera that I shoot with for photos, and then just one other video camera, not including GoPros.
Hold on. Oh, okay. I was going to say, Ryan, you've got chase cams. We know you've got a drone. You've got the
okay, fine.
selfie stick, which is.
Let me get this straight. To make these like cinematic, like best movies ever, 2 cameras, probably 1 mic. That's it. Guys, I'll be giving away my Hero 8, my Hero 7, all my audio gear. I quit.
Yeah, you can do a lot with not a lot of tools. Just got to use them,
So there is a tool that you have, and this is when I said this might be proprietary information you don't want to share. You have a gyro that's attached to your knee with a camera, correct?
Yes.
You want to talk about it, or is that not a secret you're willing to give up?
That cat's been let out of the bag already. So, and I know 2 or 3 people who have already done it. So
I'm sorry. Can you, for anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, kind of describe this setup?
Maybe I should take you back how it all began, because that's kind of weird in itself. So getting into flying, I wanted to do some type of visual photo, video. Flying at the same time was kind of my idea from the start. I thought it'd be really cool. I could take great shots from up there. Once I got comfortable flying, I thought, okay, time to bring in the camera stuff. And at the, 5 years ago, actually when I was filming the toll road, there were no smaller gimbals. All you had were the big ones. We had to hold them with 2 hands like this, and it's on 3, it's hanging, and it's a big thing. I built a aluminum extension bar, like a tandem setup pretty much, and had my gimbal attached and hanging from that thing. So I was 3 feet out in front of me with my camera dangling off the front of it, wired remote, and it was a mess and was heavy and it was cumbersome. And I thought, I can't continue to keep filming this. Actually, I set back up. This is a funny story. I was out in Salt Lake at the Salt Flats. In fact, it was part of the toll road time. And I was flying with Shane Denherter, and he was doing a sat, and he was he's coming around, and I'm just kind of coasting, still your brakes. And I got my camera in a hand, and he's getting closer. And as he came around, the top of his wing was about 6 inches from my foot.
Oh no.
And it scared me to death and just about breezed my cage. I felt the whoosh from it on my body. And from that point on, I said, I will never fly filming with my hands off brakes anymore. I will always be in full control, safety first, no more of this risky. I'm going to try to film, be doing all this stuff. So that was the end of that. So I said, no more. That's when I started trying to build these gimbal rigs. And so I'm always trying to innovate a way to try to get great shots and still have that be my number two, with number one being safe flying. So, so now it evolved into a gimbal that's mounted to my knee with a camera, and those are the shots I get.
Is that your primary camera?
For video, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Photography is all I'll just lift up and point and shoot kind of the thing.
Yeah. So there's a couple questions already coming in from the chat, and I'll try to, and I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of questions coming in. So I'm going to try to stay on top of those and read those as they're coming in. First one comes from Matt Cohen. He says, how often, I'm going to say, I think I can correct this. How often do you learn a filming or editing trick while making a paramotor video that help you in your commercial life?
I don't know if there's any one. I don't know. It's more the other way around. Usually I'll film stuff in my professional life and take what I've learned from that and try to implement them into paramotor videos. Because there's just a lot of paramotor videos out there. They're GoPro based or whatever. And you can make a lot of fun, bloggy, vloggy type videos that way. But to try to make them cinematic, then now you start talking about lens choice. What lens am I going to use? What focal length? And then what requirements am I limited to with autofocus and things? I mean, it's a nest of
stuff that we don't even think about as regular human pilots with a camera about lens choices with
a GoPro, not a camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cumbersome. I'm not going to lie. And there are times when I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't have to bring this up this flight, but then it's like, I can't not bring it. I'm in Iceland, I have to film this flight, that kind of a thing. So,
well, and you have to do that terrain justice. So yeah, all the cameras, the lenses.
Yeah. And someone's got to do it, and and GoPros sometimes just can't do it justice, so.
Yeah. There's another question I had before too. I'm going to ask it now, which is, some people just go up and shoot film and video and come back down and that's great. And it may not be the most interesting video for everybody else to watch, but it's interesting for them because it documented their flight. Some other people will go up and they'll have something in their mind. They plan it out, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to talk about. Or, a lot of Tucker Gott's videos are very purpose driven. He knows he's going to talk about X, Y, and Z and go through that in his video, and something may happen. And that's a whole different type of video as well, where he documents, hey, I was flying and whoa, something just fell out of the sky, and I'm going to document that. When you're making your videos, they're cinematic masterpieces. Do you have this in mind of what you're planning to do? And I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this, or does it just start happening and you're reporting on it as it's happening? Because I know some of the times, before you start, some of the times like a paracamping video, you're saying, okay, guys, it's 8 o'clock at night and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And you set a camera like 30 yards away, pointing up at the shooting stars on a time lapse. So how much of that is planned and how much of that is just it kind of happen?
For almost 100% of the time when I'm going into to film something eventful or a trip or a special destination, I have no idea what I'm going to do with the footage when I'm shooting it. I just go and I'll shoot. And usually what comes of the footage, an idea will hit, and then suddenly I'm like, oh, that's my theme. This is the story I'm going to tell through this imagery, because you go to places and like this last one, when I was just up flying around Page, Arizona area near Lake Powell, I brought some film gear, and I still didn't have a thing in mind of how I'm going to put this together. And after seeing what I saw, for example, I don't know if you've been around Horseshoe Bend or any part of that area. The canyons are massive, just enormous, like not really Grand Canyon, but they look like you're in the Grand Canyon style. And the sun, it's dawn, it's just dark deep down inside that canyon, and you have a tiny little paraglider guy just cruising over in this humongous world, and it's like, we are little people.
Mm-hmm.
We are so little compared to the grand vastness of this place. And so I'm like, I'm starting to come up with some ideas of how I'm going to put this story together. Fly camping videos, it's more of like a official diary of my trip, and I try to make it look cool and fun and entertaining. And yes, I do know Kevin Bacon was quoting the Bible. What it's worth.
We talked about that the other night.
I've seen that comment come up a lot. I just thought it was super funny.
It speaks to your humor level as well, which is great. You know, to always take yourself so seriously. Yeah. And that was a lot of fun. I'm just gonna bounce over to this question because I think you probably have already answered it, but let's just ask it. Jim Furman wants to know, do you storyboard?
No.
No, and that's what I thought too. So let's go back a little bit. Danish Kumar has a question. He says, when you go paracamping in sand dunes, or when you went paracamping in the sand dunes, who is operating that drone camera to shoot your cinematic dance shots? And and can you show us those dance shots here and now?
Absolutely not. That comes when I'm alone, totally alone. Interesting fact, I am preferably happiest being an introvert.
Really?
I am not a people person. I tend to keep to myself when I'm on camera. I know it's a lot like Tucker. He's a very reserved guy, quietly spoken dude. And I'm like him. You're not, if you're around a bunch of people, you're okay just kind of doing your thing for a while, but getting out and about and busybody talking to people, that's really not me so much. But when I'm out by myself on top of a sand dune at sunset, and it's like, this is the most amazing thing, and there's not a person that can hear me for a million miles, you do whatever you want. I can come out of my shell a little bit, for that kind of stuff. But I have a Mavic Air drone that DJI makes. They're about this big, and it fits in the side pocket of my harness. And so it's so easy to bring. And I thought, I can really, it kind of ups your game if you can get certain drone shots. And so I bring it with me. And in the app, you can do like a follow me mode kind of a thing, and set it to like do circles around you, and it keeps you in the middle. So that's all I did is I put myself in the middle, hit a button, and it started flying in circles. So
I think you just answered JP Tulo's question. You just put in what type of drone. John Ripman, right? And you had a question that was asked of you prior to the show, and it had to do with the dance. Do you want to ask that question?
I don't want to ask the whole question, but I'm going to just narrow it down.
Okay.
So,
and
were those dance moves choreographed by a professional dance coach, or do you have some experience in dance exploration?
Okay. I'll reveal a couple of secrets today. No, growing up, I loved to dance. I was kind of in the hip hop scene, but we're talking back in the 90s, right? So then I went to college, and I saw, as part of my arts requirement, I had to go to performances, and I saw these dudes up on stage dancing, doing some clogging and stuff, like an Appalachian stomp kind of a deal. I thought that's really cool. So I took a class, and then before you know it, I was on the American folk dance team, dancing the Salty Dog Rag down the streets of Rome.
Oh my gosh.
So so the American folk dance team, swing dance, clogging, Charleston type stuff. So we did all that stuff, and we toured Europe, and it was a blast. So I like to do dance stuff, but no, whatever I do out there, I apologize for in my videos.
That was fantastic. And then you jumped off the dune.
Oh my gosh.
That was epic. That
What?
and another part in that video, excuse me, Dave, and another part in that video, when you said, if you want one of these covers, you got to ask my mom. I was like,
Yeah.
what's his mom's name? I want to get one of those Prego covers.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic line. If you want
That
one,
was,
you got to ask my mom.
Yeah. Well, my mom actually made it.
Yeah.
It was for the Icarus race. And, when you're flying and you're standing and you land out somewhere, who knows where you're going to land out, right? Or what the weather might be if we had to land out in rain or something, which we did actually. I wanted a cover, and I don't think Scout Paramotors made covers at that point in time. And I wanted one big enough that could fit my wing inside of it too. I could just stuff it in there. And so,
Sure.
I'm like, my mom's a seamstress. She does all kinds of sewing stuff for her life. She loves it. So I'm like, Mom, make me one. So she's like, all right. So I bought the material. It was nice, like tent material stuff. And it was awesome. Yeah.
Great line though. If you want one, you got to ask my mom.
Yeah.
Tony Marzano wants to know, with all the video equipment you got, what would a trike be better for mounting cameras as such?
Yes and no. Well, on my first edition camera tandem mount piece of a thing I made, the biggest problem I had was vibration. And I still deal with that to an extent. I have to, depending on how strong your motors are on your gimbal. So if you're mounted to your actual frame and your motor is attached to your frame as well, and and you get like some mirrorless cameras that have a floating internal stabilization, like a lot of Sonys do, and I used to film on those, because they float. When you get engine things, you get this little wavy like effect that comes through your footage.
Yellow.
And so I'm like trying, how am I going to try to get rid of this? So I have to separate from that. And so yeah, mounting to the cage might be difficult if you do it that way. Also, there are shots where I'm filming straight down or down and off to the side. And if you're on a trike, unless you're on the very tip nose of the trike, if it extended out in front, then maybe that's not going to work so well. Unless you're the passenger on the front of a trike and you're have hands-free, you can do whatever you want.
Are you not using 360 cameras?
No, not yet.
Okay. All right.
They're pretty fun. I just don't, I'm not too big of a fan of that super bendy, warpy look.
Fisheye.
And it, there's definitely cool shots. Like people, do those shots where it looks like they're on top of the world. It's like a globe, the world below you or something. And there's some cool shots like that. It's not my style. I try to make cinematic stuff when I do it. And there's like cinematic looking footage. There's adventure looking footage, GoPro. And then there's a little more eccentric, and I can point it any direction and accessible, which is cool too. And I wish sometimes I had that ability, but yeah, it's just all different styles and stuff. So
if you watch videos of yours, and I watch yours, and I go back to Greg, because Greg's really changed my style of how I edit videos or how I think about filming a video. And so I watch very carefully, and I know a lot of times you'll do a super slow motion shot for 3-4 seconds, which may have just been a 1 second shot, but it's like very dramatic. Did you go to school for all this?
No. No, I have a bachelor's degree in Japanese and an MBA with international affairs, and I don't use it for work at all. So
Did you just learn this on your own, how to do all this?
It actually started back in 2001, like 9/11. It was actually that week. I was going to grad school. I was working as a web designer for his company, and they decided to close shop. Basically say, okay, we're moving our business to Atlanta, but we're not taking the designers with us. So sorry guys, you have 30 minutes to pack up your things and go home. Here's your severance package. And I went home and I'm like, great. I don't have a job. And then the next day I found out we're having twins, and I don't have a car big enough for all my kids. And then 9/11 hit like that Friday or whatever, that weekend. So I'm like, okay, I'm in a tough place. I don't want to ever work for someone else ever again. And that's when I started doing, friends' weddings and started filming stuff on the side to try to make ends meet. And then one thing led to another, and it grew and it grew. And now I'm, 66 countries deep in filming around the world. So that's how
Interesting. Sarah Ehlers asked this question before. She said, if you could have one camera, your dream camera, what camera would it be and why? Or do you already have it?
For filming, I would say it. Well, I have a red camera that I use for work, and it's for that stuff. It's fantastic, and it's fantastically expensive too. But for paramotor stuff, it's a different type of world. My camera of choice is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. It's a mouthful, but it shoots fantastic looking footage. It's lightweight. It doesn't put too much strain on a gimbal when I'm filming. And so got a little cheap lens on it that has some range for zoom on it. And it has image stabilization built in, which is helpful for vibration. So, but yeah, that's generally what I take with me when I'm filming the nicer stuff.
Okay. Obviously, you're not using iMovie. Mark H wants to know, what are you using for editing?
Premiere Pro.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not too crazy out there, but I mean, it's accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So a lot of adventures. Para camping is you've done that a couple times in different amazing locations. What are 3 pieces of advice you would give to someone who wants to do para camping or para boondocking?
Para boondocking, fly camping. I actually got my I splurged and got my license plate that says fly camper. Pretty stoked. 3 things. Bring water. Tell someone, make sure people know where you're going, and be sure you know how to fly out of wherever you plan to land. Like you have the skills to do that at least. I mean, I don't ever tout myself as like an expert or, super pro pilot or anything, but I've been in enough situations where I've had to get out of something, and it's forced me to become a better pilot. And that's a big part. I mean, if you fly out, you're 15 miles out and you get stuck, you got to figure it out, how to get out of there.
That's one of the questions I had watching one of your videos. I'm like, man, that sand looks so soft. How are you going to run out of that sand?
Yeah, it's hard. In fact, the one in Glamis was an uphill run. And so that was a little difficult, but I had a little headwind. So that helped a ton. The recent one I did in Idaho was a little bit of a downhill, but I had to get out in time where I would hit the next front bank. So, yeah, one thing I think that most people don't give themselves credit for is that most people are better than they think in being able to fly in situations. Either they're just too comfortable flying out of their own LZ all the time. But if you are put into a challenge and you think it through, I have this far to go. There's a pole right there, or there's a truck over there. I have to thread that needle. And if you say, I have no other choice, and you force yourself to do it, you can do it. And I've been really close at times, but if you put your mind to it and think, okay, I'm going to maybe do a power start, get the wing up fast. I'm going to hit the throttle a little bit sooner, and I'm going to run and then just go for it, and I got to turn left as soon as I hit, whatever the situation may be. I've put myself in those situations before, especially on Icarus race. You never know where you're going down, and have to get out of it. So yeah, you have to force yourself to become a better pilot. And I think most people can do if they just try it.
Speaking of Icarus, so you're 3 years. Before I ask you the Icarus question I had, you've been flying for 8 years. You have such a busy lifestyle. How many times a week, month, year do you get to fly?
When it was busy for work, I've been able to get 2 flights a month. Mm-hmm. It's rare. It's like when I get home, I'm driving home from, LAX, and I'm like, okay, checking the weather for the next morning. Like, I got to fly. It's like, I got to go do it. It's whenever I can. When I'm home, I've been blessed. Like it's weird to say it, but this whole COVID and shutdown stuff has been amazing on many levels. Aside from it being the worst thing I've ever dealt with and being stunted with work options as well at the same time. But I've been flying a ton, and I love it. So much more frequently now. I'm getting out a couple times a week, and that's it's pretty awesome.
That's good. So 3 years into your paramotoring career, you decided to do this crazy Icarus.
Yeah.
Wow. Who talked you into doing that one? And what was the biggest hype? Rather than going through the whole story, through the whole video, I don't want to relive videos here. People should watch your videos and make sure they're asking you questions and comments and, giving a thumb up or thumb down, whatever they feel about that video. But what was your highlight? Who talked you into doing it? And what was the highlight of that for you?
I don't know if it was Shane or Byron who had talked me, the original Team Fly Halo guys who talked me into it. But the fact that I was going to kind of buddy up and team with Byron to do it together made me feel like, oh, well, I've got my, I don't know the English word. Sorry. Sometimes I get stuck on Japanese. My senior, I guess my big brother kind of guide along on the trip, because I was still new. I still felt like I was just barely, if even, an intermediate based flyer at that time. But most memorable thing, I don't know if it was either getting to the finish line and having nobody be there, or because we were ahead of the pack and most people were 100 miles back, and so that, or actually here's one, getting up in the air before the cloud cover, before the haze sets in, and then getting locked in between two cloud layers and flying around Portland airport airspace legally, and then seeing 747 coming right at you, and then trying to dive away to dodge it, and then it's coming down on approach as well, to following your pattern. And I'm like, okay, we're screwed. And then seeing the faces in the windows as they pass you by that close. It was scary. We were in a safe zone. We were in legal airspace, but on approach they kind of swing out beyond the airport and then do a U-turn and come around back in. I don't know if they were flying wide or what, but that, and having an engine out right over the trees of Mount Shasta with no outs, that was
yikes.
That was scary. I was 5 seconds away from having to pick a tree and commit to it. So
there's a lot of, I've got my highlights from each of the videos that I've watched. Sorry, films. I'll call them films. I know mine and my buddy Greg, one of our favorites, is in Glamistan Dunes. Did you ever find out who was standing on the back of the moving train, which is so freaking cool?
Yeah.
So freaking, and you caught that shot. That was unbelievable.
He knew who that was.
Who was that?
Yeah.
Buddy.
Yeah, it's my new buddy. His name's Scott. Maybe we'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably a good idea.
I think it is, or was it Jeremy? I don't know.
You don't know. It could have been Peter. Might have been. Yeah. That was amazing.
That was my first flight on that trip, getting out to Glamis, and literally we just came back from the dunes. I was not paired up with anybody. I knew there was some other people flying out there. And then I come around by the tracks where we're kind of camping, and I see him doing this, and I'm just losing my mind going, no way. This is unreal. I've never seen it. I don't know if it could ever be repeated again, but fantastic pilot. And just a couple of weeks ago, he calls me up and says, hey, my buddy has got access to a houseboat up on Lake Powell, and we want to kind of fly the area. Do you want to come up? And I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. And then he said, yeah, if the weather's good, then why don't you come up a day early and we fly at Sedona. So we flew Sedona, a couple flights there, and then went up to Page, Arizona, and flew around there. And that's where my next big video is going to come from. I got the footage for it already.
Sedona is amazing. I spend 10 weeks out of the year in Arizona.
Yeah.
And Sedona takes my breath away.
Yeah. And the neat thing about that place too is that everybody knows it for the big red rocks and the nice cliff edge scenery that they have there, the hoodoos and things, but you could fly south and find canyons and rivers and beautiful landscape that you don't really associate with Sedona. He took me there, and we had a blast. So I actually got 2 videos coming up, probably before the end of the year. One of them, and I don't know if people, I guess those who follow my channel would know, I got 2 types of videos that I put out. One of them are called venture flights. The venture flights are just kind of like this scrap footage that I don't know what to do with, and it's not really anything I would put into a film. So I take it, and then I'll say, oh, here's just 2 minutes of me flying around with my chase cam. And, it's neat if you want to see it, but then my other videos are actually stuff I put together, big editing and turn on my radio voice.
There you go.
Kind of a thing, and do some narration. So yeah, I got a quick flight through Sedona, venture flight, and then Foot Drag in the Sky should be the title of my next one.
Sweet.
I'm excited for it. It's a mind blower. It really is. And it came about because we finished filming the first day, and I got all this footage, and I'm pretty happy with it. And we're looking at this footage, and I, take my computer, my laptop that we're looking at it, and it kind of went like this. And we're like, holy crap, I'm onto something right here. And everyone's around me is like looking at me, whoa, and the light bulb went off. And then now I've got my storyboard just appeared in front of me of what the rest of this video is gonna, or the climax of this video is gonna be. So yeah, that's it's gonna be a fun one.
Can't wait.
I agree. We're racking up a bunch of questions from the chat, but I want to ask you this. I have my personal favorite Ryan Southwell video, and I bet John does, and Dave. My personal, I love Iceland. I just love Iceland, and that's a bucket.
That's your favorite?
That's my favorite. I love
Dave Ruff. Do you have a favorite? He's muted. So I'll tell you.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, and then I'll
tell you my favorite. My favorite was the toll road. I mean, that was the first time I've ever seen a Ryan Southwell video, and it just captivated me. And the dedication to his friend and everything was just so moving. I actually tears as I watched it. I think I wrote that in the comments. It brought tears to my eyes. So hats off to you.
Yeah, thank you.
A beautiful video and a beautiful tribute to you, buddy.
Thank you. Been doing all my friends and pilots with me. So
yeah. Dave?
I travel like you and stopped work in March when COVID hit. There's no more traveling. And I bring my paramotor when I travel all around the country. And I must live under a rock in all the places I've ever flown, because I have a confession to make. Right before you logged in tonight, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen any of his videos. And I'm sitting here with, and I'm like, oh, where did you come from? I mean, like your line, I don't know your name, but I feel like I should. So yeah, dude, you know what I'm going to be doing tonight when I go to bed? I'm going to be sitting up probably until 5 a.m. watching every single one of your videos, because, oh my God.
It'll be a hell of a night.
I mean, hey, Ryan, I could have looked you right in the eye and just lied to you and said, oh yeah, this one's my favorite that I just saw. But I mean, no, man, I'm awestruck.
Thank you.
I'm just, whoa.
So Ryan, there you go. So when I reached out to you in the chat, when you asked how you can get more viewership, I said, come on one of these shows.
Yeah.
I said, I mean, people just don't know of you, and maybe we can get you at 50, another 100, maybe more. And just the fact of this little exposure, helps. And here we have a guy who's watches quite a bit of paramotor videos that didn't even know of you, and
I'm embarrassed. I really am. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know who you are. I have it up on this screen, sitting just going, and that's actually why I muted and went off, because I was actually watching one. I was like, holy cow!
That's great, isn't it? So good news, amazing. Good news, Ryan. You got one new subscriber tonight. Done.
Yeah. At the end of that last video, I was it Idaho one. I asked the question like, what do I need to do to?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. That's right.
I was going through like a mid paramotor filming life crisis, because there's a lot of work that goes in, not just the amount of flying over and over and over to try to figure out how to make these shots look good from the air and film at the same time, by the editing and stuff. And then it's like, oh, awesome. Like 27 people watched my video and I just spent, 200 hours editing it and filming, it's like, so I'm like, oh, how do I do it? And it allowed a lot of great advice from everybody. And thank you, everybody. That was wonderful. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is I don't care. I like to do it. I'm going to do it because I love to do it. And if it's only, if people enjoy watching, then great. Thank you for watching. But I'm not going to try to pimp myself out. And I have a thing in my heart that just says, I can't do clickbait. It's not in me. It's not my style to try to put a crazy banner up and like, you won't believe what happened next. As my thing, because I'd rather try to make something beautiful, try to make something that makes people feel something, and try to take people to a place that they can't go. So I have a lot of friends, like friends of my parents who are like we're too old, we can't ever go there, but thanks for sharing. It really helped me feel, brighten my day or whatever. So that kind of stuff counts for me.
I respect that. I respect not having clickbait, but come on, I did fly into a river. I have to put, I flew into a river.
Oh yeah. No, that's fine.
Oh, wait, he launched from the river.
And I launched out of the river too. So sort of.
If I did that,
And caught a fish.
Fish, guys.
Yeah, that's right. He caught a fish with his glider.
I heard about that fish. But yeah, no, I'm not saying it's bad. In fact, it's just that's how a lot of people get their views and do that, man. It's just, for me, it's not getting the big number is not a priority. That's what I learned from asking the question and getting all that feedback, is that, I'm content. I'm content with people who watch.
So there's a whole question that was coming from me and Ripa and asking Dave what our favorite was. I'm going to ask you that question, but I got to tell you this first. I just glanced down at the chat, which I really don't try to watch the chat very often. Once in a while, my eyes will glance down, but I just saw Aiden Martin Jr. just subscribed. I'm going to have a problem with this one. Terry Fish 101 just subscribed. John Wayne. Oh, that's not. He might have already subscribed. Bill H, new subscriber. So you just got a bunch of new subscribers. And awesome. I'm going to tell you, that's awesome, but it's more awesome for them because they are going to be so in love with these videos. There's no doubt. So my question was, what is your favorite Ryan Southwell video, Ryan Southwell?
Oh.
Everybody's got one. Because I've got my favorite of my own favorites, or maybe I do, maybe I don't. Everybody's got a favorite. They say, I really love this. This one I could go back and watch because it really moves me. Mine probably has my kids in it. What is your favorite of all of yours?
I don't. It's like, pick your favorite child.
That's easy for me. I can tell you which is my least favorite. JP Tulo just subscribed. There you go.
I'll probably Iceland.
All right.
Skies Untouched. It might be it. Because I had been going to Iceland every year for work for the past, I think, like 8 years.
Wow.
And when what I said in the intro there was 100% real. I was on that cliff on my very first time there thinking, I want to fly this place. This would be amazing. Like, all my mind would go to. And you can't beat the scenery. You can't beat, it's just otherworldly. It's a whole new, it's beyond Narnia. It's beyond Lord of the Rings. Seeing it in person, it's mind blowing. If you get into the right places too. I mean, you could go there and fly less interesting places too, but for the most part, it's a mind blowing experience. But that's for that respect, where you're flying and you just are seeing, is this real? Is this real? But then again, there's maybe tied or in a different way, I would say, like the Glamis fly camping video. I mean, I flew that place and practically lost my voice because if you on a good day, you're just jamming low, flying over just carving through those sand dunes. your arms my arms were actually tired and I was losing my voice from screaming. Like, woo, woo. Yeah, you're just having the best time of your life.
Been there.
And if you've flown sand dunes before, you'll know it's incredible. And that's why I went back to the ones in Idaho. Like I want to do a thing where I hit every possible sand dune in the nation and do a fly camping video there.
Do Oregon dunes. I'm telling you, man. I've never flown Glamis, and I need to one of these days. But if it's anything like Oregon dunes, go to Oregon dunes.
Yeah, they're tons of fun. I love flying them. So, and that video alone, that's where I met that guy on the pink glider that does some crazy stuff, and we became friends after that. We landed after that flight, and I walked up to him and I said, like, dude, what's your name? Like, 100%. I said, we got to be friends because you're my favorite person alive right now. and he did. And we got to be friends, and we've flown a couple of times since then. And yeah, it's great. I can't. So here's a big shout out to everybody who's ever been in one of my videos. I can't film a video if it's about myself the whole time. It just doesn't work or look good. I chase cam, go so far. I go fly camping and land. I turn a GoPro back on my face or use a selfie stick for the first time. And it's only so much, but I can't get the real good or real more cinematic stuff if I don't have someone willing to fly with me, and kind of get into the good places where it might look good, and set me up for some good shots. So yeah, so all those guys who do that, thank you. They're awesome. It's like they sacrifice a flight just to get in my way with my camera on. So
nice. I'm going to try to get back to some of these questions. Some of them may have or may not have already been answered, but we'll ask them. But I do want to tell you everybody this as well. Mark George sent me a message as we're sitting here chatting, and he's been so moved by the show. Mark George is one of our newest sponsors of the show, Paris Swag. Please go check them out. They've got some great stuff. So in addition to the Trike Flyer shirt that you're going to be giving away tonight, Mark George is going to be giving away a t-shirt. I'm going to show those a little bit later, right before you spin the wheel. I'll show you what those look like. You'll get a choice of one or the other. And very generous of Mark. Thank you, Mark, for doing that. This question I think may have not been answered. This again is from Danish Kumar. Out of all the places that you have visited, where would you want to return with a paramotor where you didn't get the chance to fly? And it's understandable you cannot take your gear everywhere, but if you could, where would you go?
He's going to say Iceland.
Well, I've done well. Every time that will be my answer. Yeah. But for places I haven't flown that I would want to fly, I'm just kind of combing the globe in my head right now.
I think about Matt Minyard flying in over with Glenn Tupper, some of the places that they've gone over, temples, things like that.
Yeah. There are some places in inner China that would be cool. There's some really cool geological phenomenons that are there that would be super cool to fly. That I would say they look like a tropical version of Sedona, or Moab, and they just kind of come up, but they're green and they're pillars. It's a little bit like Thailand too in some ways too, but yeah, maybe that place. There's some places in the Middle East too that were pretty awesome. Went to Saudi Arabia a couple times last year, and that was there's some unknown spots there that are pretty cool, deserty stuff. I don't know why I like the desert stuff so much, but yeah, it's a pretty cool place.
There you go. Tony Marzano has two questions here. He wants to know, one, have you ever thrown reserve? You can answer that one first.
Nope.
Okay, moving on. Tony also wants to know, was that the same Icarus race that Tucker did?
No, I was on the very first Icarus race and didn't get probably as much publicity because there wasn't any big famous paramotor YouTubers in it. So, but yeah, it was pretty raw. It was the first time they were trying to figure out the kinks, what works, what doesn't work in it. But it was the first one. It was from Mount Rainier in Washington down to Black Hawk Ranch, Central California.
Neat.
How long did that trip take you?
We did it in 4 days and
Approximate flight hours.
Flight hours. I don't know, but we had pretty much 4 flights a day with, we flew every day, all day.
Wow. Awesome.
Tony, just select this last question in here too. Have you ever flown over the pyramids?
No.
Would that be something you'd want to do?
I went there last year. It would be amazing. I know that there's that trip. I don't know if Amelia is doing it or who's running that, but it looked amazing. The logistics of it going through, I think, are more than it's worth trying to make happen.
Yeah, there's a company that offers that. I was looking at it, and same thing is, looks like it would be amazing, but the logistics was just,
yeah, I
don't want to do it.
You know, I don't like, I'm a generally non-confrontational guy. And I went to Egypt to shoot 2 years ago, and it was, it's an interesting place. Let me just put it that way. You always got to have your escort, local escort guy, and then a lot of money in your back pocket to get anything done or go anywhere over there. So, yeah, it was
Africa.
Well, it was a challenge. It was a hard challenge. I mean, halfly because I was working and we had to get shots in places, and there's always a guard standing over something. But anyway, yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to do that if it was an easy path to do it.
I have one other question from the chat, and I think this will catch us up. If there's
wait, let me ask a quick question before you ask that one. Ryan, have you ever done a SIV?
Nope, not yet. Been meaning to.
But you're gonna.
Yeah, I was. I actually had. I was signed up, and then scheduling conflicts or something happened, and I had to.
The 3 of us crazies have done one.
We did. We did. He was a sponsor. He's actually a sponsor of ours, and that's Andy Fuller with Skylab Paramotor. It was a great experience, and I know someone at the top of the show, I forget who it was now that I can't think of it, just said that he just did it with Skylab and just
Your Danky Garcia.
Yep, your Danky. Sorry, that's right. He did it. It was an amazing experience and very highly recommended. But Shandor has asked the question: will there be a Ryan Southwell photo book coming soon? I mean, all these places, these amazing shots. That's a really great question. Will we ever do a photo book to put out?
Yeah, I started doing an Iceland one, and it kind of went to the back burner. But I want to. I do want to. So I'll say yes, and then I'll commit to it. Yes, and then yeah, it's a struggle. Like, I don't know. Do I add a little commentary on the border strip on the side? Do I just leave it pictures only? I don't know how many pages.
I think you should be able to have an audio recording button on the book so that you could you can push the button if you want the audio. And this is me flying in Iceland.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, we got one more question that just came in. We got some T-shirts to give away here in a second too. Do we want to give away one of the 2 T-shirts? Ask a couple more questions and then we could do the other one. What do you think of that, Dave?
Yeah.
All right. You want to do the Tri-Player T-shirt first?
Yeah, can do.
All right. So show us that Tri-Player
let's
T-shirt. Give Ryan a second to catch his breath here if he wants.
Have a drink.
Chatty over here.
Hot off the press. They're ever rare. I think there's only 4 of these out there in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And I have them in different colors depending on what size. So guys, you get a Trike Flyer T-shirt, you don't get to control the color. They're red, black, and blue. So it just kind of depends. So let me see if I can do this. I'm gonna have to take my
no question tonight. So no one should be putting numbers in the chat, guessing a number or something like that. It's gonna be based on the wheel.
Yeah, the wheel.
We will decide.
So I have been putting, everybody that's been making comments and things like that, I have been putting into the wheel. There we go. Can we got it? Got it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and spin it. Here we go, guys.
Here we go. While we're waiting for that name, I do want to say this. We had such an amazing show last week, and I've been doing this a year. And oh, wow, that picked it quick. Never mind. Who we got?
Paramotor, North Carolina. Congrats. You are a winner of a Trike Flyer T-shirt.
Awesome. Paramotor NC. Dave, do you want the winners to email you, or do you want them to go to, they can email me?
Go ahead and have them email you and then just send the information. And I will get these out. What are we on? Wednesday? I will get these out Friday.
So if you want to send your T-shirt size, the color you want. Dave, what colors are the choices of the T-shirts?
depends on what size he gets. Because again, I have
Just
small,
send them the size.
large. So just send him the size, and you're either going to get a black, a blue, or a red.
All right, tell you what. How about email me at paramotorcrazy@gmail.com, and I'll give you Dave's phone number, and you can call Dave. How's that work?
Yeah,
That
or
work?
text me. The number he gives you, just text me.
Yeah, we won't give Dave's number out, or I could. That'd be kind of funny, but then he would do it to me. I want to start to say paramotorcrazy@gmail.com. So congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Paramotor NC. When you have a show that had 1,300 views on it the week before, I think you're petrified. How are you going to come back after that? This has been a great show with Ryan, a great show. And the stories that he tells are absolutely amazing, almost as great as what he puts on YouTube for us. Because really, I mean, it shouldn't be free, Ryan. I mean, really, you should be charging for these videos. I would pay to see these videos. They're that good. I'm not trying to kiss your ass or anything. You've obviously been watching the Paramotor Crazy videos and getting ideas, and that's great. That's fine. I'm glad it's helping you out.
That's his channel, Ryan.
Yeah, that's the channel you're on. All right. Pilot Maximus. That's a cool name. Welcome to the show. I don't think you've ever been on. There's a couple new names. Ryan's brought some people over with him.
Yes. Yes.
No doubt about it. All right. Pilot Maximus. He says, oh my gosh, I got to read this. I said it the other day, and as someone who only recently found Ryan's video, not only is he my absolute favorite PPG content provider, he is now my favorite YouTube content provider, period.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks, man.
It was more of a statement, not a question. There you go. Very cool. All right. Any other questions, guys? I feel like I had a See, the thing is, I said this earlier to you today, John. I said we could have made 3 shows out of Ryan Southwell on all the things he's done, the places he's been. I don't want to relive all of his videos. I'd rather people go out there and see it for the first time themselves if they haven't. And I'll tell you, as soon as the show ends, a lot of people are going to be watching those videos and going, how did I never see this channel before? The mind-blowing thing is you're somewhere in the 3,000 subscribers range, right? It's crazy that it's only that low. So hopefully a lot of people will see these and be excited and stir up the algorithm, and it should blow up the channel. I mean, wow. And then, hey, all of us can say, I remember when he only had 3,000. Now look at him.
Well, I
can remember when I go to an Icarus and you're there, that I can say, there was a really famous person flying the Icarus. His name's Ryan Southwell.
Oh, well, no, there's room to grow, a lot of fun to have.
Yeah.
I do them when I can. I do them because I like it. I don't get paid, and I don't have sponsors. So it's do it when I can because I love it.
There you go. All right, we got one of 2 T-shirts you can get from Paraswag. Look at how cool these are. One says "Fly or Die," head in the clouds, feet off the ground. Paraswag USA. I love it.
I do too.
The second one is "Fly a Latte," fly high, fly free. I really like those.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I think I might be buying one. Is my name in the wheel, Dave?
It can be.
Okay. Make sure it's in there. Make sure it's in there. I'd like to know in the chat which ones you prefer. That'd be kind of good information for Mark George. What do you like better, the Fly or Die or the Fly a Latte? So put in the chat real quick which one you like, and that way he knows which one to make more of. And then I believe you can go to the Paraswag USA, and Mark, if you're in the chat, you can go ahead and put a message there how you want someone to reach out to you, whoever the winner is. You can go into the Paraswag USA website, and I think there is a contact us, so you can put in there that you want it and just reach out to that. Someone says Fly or Die, Fly or Die. Everybody's liking the Fly or Die. Oh yeah, Fly or Die. See you there. That's not John Wayne. That's not what it. Okay, why don't we spin the wheel, Dave? Go ahead, and I'm gonna stop my screen share so we can see that wheel.
All right, let me go ahead and get this set back up here real
Give
quick.
it a good spin this time, Dave.
Unfortunately, it just does the way it does. But I want to show that I did add Dave's name here.
No, I'm not winning. I can't do
that. Coconut Broad, Dave, come on.
Oh, come on. I thought we were better than that. No?
No, we're not.
All right.
All right, guys, here we go.
I'd like to buy a vowel.
Oh! I almost got
Flying
myself
Daughters.
a shirt. The Flying Dohertys. Congratulations.
Oh,
You
I
win
love
the
them.
Paris swag t-shirt.
I love those guys. I met them last year at a fly-in. They're awesome peeps. They did a little training with Kyle O'Glee. And I believe I saw that I wanted to go to Fly PPG, Michael Mixers. He had the annual Para Flight Fest. Flight Fest.
3 times really fast. And if you can't,
Yeah.
you got to down a PBR.
Well,
Shotgun a
I
PBR.
think that's why I'm slurring. So I know they were there and Shonda was there. So congratulations, Flying Dohertys. That's awesome. Cool. Kurt and Velvet. That's right. All right. Any last thoughts or questions for Ryan? I'm so excited that he's here. We're going to open up the after show here in just a few moments.
I've got one last question from Yankee Paramotor. He
Oh,
wants to know, where is Ryan's dream shoot location?
Flying?
It doesn't say that. I would say anywhere.
Anywhere? I don't know. It seems repetitive to keep saying Iceland all the time, but
What about Israel? No?
I've filmed there before in Herzliya, and yeah, the day after we left, that's when they bombed the Tel Aviv airport.
Yikes.
Crazy.
I'm good with that.
I was in Riyadh when Yemen bombed Riyadh, a mile away from my hotel.
Wow.
After they confiscated all my gear. So that's not on the list. Yeah, dream place. I don't know. I like the colder climate locations. There's a few places in northeastern Canada by Greenland that are on my list, so that would be fun. Iuituk National Park. Good luck finding it.
I'm going to ask one more question by Jeff Dean that just came in. My buddy Jeff Dean. While I'm asking this question, you may want to check your, for the last question, I'm going to ask you one more question after this, but check your Facebook Messenger. You might have a message on there, Ryan. Check your Facebook Messenger. But the question from Jeff Dean is, how do you transport your paramotor?
I have I don't take it internationally. I have it arranged for another motor when I'm there flying. When I'm anywhere in the States, I'll have it on a modified bike rack that is on the hitch of my car. So,
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, when like in Iceland, Miro from Scout Paramotors, he arranges a whole van load of paramotors to show up there, and you contribute for like your rental of the motor for the week when you're flying around. So,
all right. Last question. You are, in my opinion, as someone else just said, we mentioned before what Pilot Maximus says. I mean, by far and away, best content out there. What YouTube channel has been your greatest inspiration for what you do and how you've structured your documentary films?
You know, that's not really hard. I mean, it should go without saying, Paramotor Crazy. 100%
What?
all the way.
Wait a second.
Oh
Yeah.
my. Oh,
I mean,
It is rigged.
thank you.
all the way. I mean, why wouldn't you?
I would ask you which was your favorite video, but there's probably, I mean, could you put your finger on? Probably not.
No, the fish in the wing. I don't know if you can beat a fish in the wing.
Hey, Rittman,
Yes, sir.
you know we're going to get some revenge, right?
All right, guys, Ryan Southwell, make sure you check out his YouTube channel. Ripman Ryan just put that in the chat. Jim Furman's calling BS. That's funny. Oh shoot, I just put it in the wrong place. Doggone it. Let's see if I can copy it. Oh man, I put it in the wrong place. All right, I have to put the meeting ID in here. I'll get that here in 1 second, guys.
Actually, that's a good point. I mean, how much did David Wolf pay Ryan to say that? Ryan did say that he's been out of work for most of the year, so I mean, there is a monetary question there.
You know what? I don't know, guys. I mean, why you got to be haters? You know, it's
Yeah.
It is what it is. Okay. I just put the meeting ID and the password into the chat so you guys can come on and say hi to Ryan, ask him any other questions, or just show your love and appreciation. I'm so grateful that Ryan was here tonight. I don't fanboy too much, but it's nice to come back and fanboy to somebody. He's definitely a great person. If you're into making YouTube videos and you want to increase your quality, he's definitely one that you'll watch and go, I like that shot. I like the way he did that. I think I want to try to incorporate that into my YouTube videos to make them a little bit better too. So there you go. Enjoy them. You're going to love them if you've never seen them. And if you've seen them, go back and watch them again because they're worth another look. All of them. Ryan, thanks so much, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks again, Ryan.
Don't forget. Absolutely. Don't forget to, JP says the meeting. Okay. So I'll try it again, JP. The meeting ID. Actually, Ripman, are you able to put that in real quick?
No.
Okay. Oh, I think it's 823. That's why. Sorry. Give me 1 second. 823. Thank you, JP. 3618 5057. And then password is going to be 170787. Okay. Make sure you check out ourparamotornation.com, www.ourparamotornation.com. Check out all of the sponsors. And in 2 nights from tonight on the Trike Flyer channel, and every Friday night for the next year after that, the After Dark show. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's just a great place to come and hang out too. So come visit Dave over there and join him. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Rick.
Good night, everyone.
And Ryan, thanks so much, buddy. We appreciate it. Have a nice night, everybody. We'll see you next week on our Paramotoration for the Para Debate between Jeff Goyne and his arch nemesis rival, Eric DeFore. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you then. Don't forget to vote. Make sure you vote.